Today, we will learn how to implement CRUD actions using turbo frames and turbo streams. To begin, we have created our blank Rails application here. And to make this easier for us, I'll simply install Tailwind CSS. So just copy that, add bundle, add Tailwind CSS Rails. This will get installed. Next, you can run Rails Tailwind CSS install. And now that that is complete, we can run bin/dev to start up our server. And for this application, we'll generate a scaffold. So we'll run Rails generate scaffold. I will say article. I will have title of type string and content of type text. With that, we can run Rails db migrate, and we can update our routes. So if we head back here and we go to localhost 3000, you can see everything shows up perfectly. Oops, content. We go back, we can create a second one. So for this application, we want to be able to, on our index page here, we want to be able to create. That means our form would show up here if we click on new article. We also want to be able to edit the article, and we also want to be able to edit it, or rather delete it while on this page still. So to begin, we'll start with creating an article. And since we have this here, we use a turbo frame tag here. So we'll head over to our index.html.erb file, and we can see we have our link to new article right here. So what we could do is we could wrap this in a turbo frame tag, and we can call this, if we use article.new, and we use our end tag, and we save it here. If we refresh it and we inspect it here, you can see we have our turbo frame tag with ID new article. So we want our form to show up here. So we'll use the same turbo frame tag with the same name, which we use article new here. If we head over to new.html.erb, we want this page to load up when we click on the new article. So then on the new article button. So we'll wrap this in a turbo frame tag with the same name. And this will be turbo frame tag. And if you go to our controller, our articles controller, in our new action, we can see our variable is equal to article.new. And this is what we set this to here for the name. So we can simply say turbo frame tag article, and we can use our do block, and at the end of it here we close it up and we save it. So once we go back here and we refresh, if we click on new article, you can see we're presented with our form right here. And if we go ahead and try to create, you can see first and click on create article, you can see our new article doesn't show up and our form disappeared. If we refresh this page, you can see our content shows up here. So we head over to our controller, articles controller, and we click at our create action. You can see it's responds to format HTML and format JSON. but we also want it, or rather we want it to respond to a turbo stream. So now that we have done that and we save it, if we look here, if we try again, we click on new article and we enter some random data. We click on create article. You can see it was successful here. The create was successful, the insert into articles was successful, and you can see it says processing by articles controller create as turbo stream. So now that we have done that, our next step is we want what we have created here to be appended or prepended to this page here, and we also want to clear the content out from this form. So what we will do is we'll go to our views, and in our controller, since we are using the turbo stream, we'll also create a file in our views with the same name of the controller where we're using the turbo stream. So we'll have create.turbostream.erb, right? And here we can set the actions that we want to carry out with turbo stream. So we can say turbo stream dot prepend, and where do we want to prepend our data to? Well, if we look here in index.html.erb, we have articles here, this div. So we want to prepend our data to this div here that is identified using articles. So you can say prepend articles do, and we end this here. And inside the data that we want to prepend is what we just created, and that would be, you can simply say render article, and the article is what we just created, is the object that's currently in our create action. So if we save this, refresh here, click on new, let's say from create action, and we click on create article, we can see our data has been prepended here, what we just created from create action and the content, but we can see our data here still hasn't been cleared. So what we can do is we can head over to our form, and we can give our form an ID, a unique way that we can identify it. So we can simply say article form. And now that we have done that, we can come back to our create turbo stream file, and we can also add another action here that we can use. So we'll say turbo stream dot replace, and we have article form, and we can say do, and then we say want to render out our form once again, and we want to set the article right here to be article.new. So if we come back here, let's just create this again, or rather let's save it, and refresh and clear data. You can see what we just entered is here and is independent, and our form has been cleared. And if you want to, you can click on back and create a new article. If we add some article, if we add some validations, so we can say validates title present true, and we leave the title blank, You can see our error messages pop up. So for our next action, we want to be able to edit on this page. If we right now we click on this, you can see we are redirected to the edit page. So if we head over to our article partial page, we can see that we have a DOM ID here, a unique way to identify each article. If we go back here and we click on inspect, you can see we have article 1 here, article 2, article 3, article 4. So you could use this DOM ID here for our turbo frame tag. So we could go ahead and do turbo frame tag, and if we simply say article, Rails is smart enough to infer that we want to use the article ID. So we can come here and we can close this. We won't be using this. And if we refresh and we come here once again, you can see we have a turbo frame ID with article 1, similar to what we had before with the div, but now it's the turbo frame. So now that we have wrapped this round, if we click on edit, you can see it doesn't do exactly what we want it to do. So we head over to our edit page, edit.html.erb. And similarly, we want to wrap this in a turbo frame tag. And we want to use article, because right here we're using article, and similarly you want to use the same thing with the same name. So we close that up. So if we click on, we refresh that, and now we click on edit article, you can see our turbo frame loads up the edit page here. Updated from and click on that. You can see, even though that worked, you can still see that we have our old data here, our second article. So we'll head over to our controller, our articles controller, and similarly with updates, as we did with create, we want to use format.turbostream. So once we have done that, we can come here and we'll also create our view for our update action. So we have updates turbostream.erb. So we can say turbostream.updates. And what do we want to do? What do we want to update? Well, if we look at our partial here, since we are using the article to identify, and Rails is generating unique IDs for us, we can say we want to update the article. So we can say article do. And what do we want to render? We want to render out our new article here. So you can just say render article. So if we do that, we click on edit and we say render article. There we go. Our data loads up properly. If we click on show this article, you can see it doesn't perform the action that we expect it to do. If we want to navigate to the show page, we'll use a special turbo frame known as _top. The top refers to the entire web page. So if we have a turbo frame with the name top, and if we click on it, it will replace the current page we are on with the link that we are navigating to. So if we head over to our partial here, you can see a link to this article. So we can use data turbo frame, and then we can simply specify top. So if we click on this now, you can see we are navigated to the article page, the article show page, and this is inside a turbo frame. So our final action will be the delete and destroy. Right. So we come here to our partial, and we'll use a button 2. So you can say button 2. Let's say destroy this article. And of course, we'll pass the article path. You can say article. And we'll specify, this article path. We'll specify our article. And then we can say method delete. There we go. We just simply copy the CSS. Makes it a little bit more uniform. So now that we have done that, we can head over to our controller, and we could say in our destroy action, we could simply say format.turbostream. And similar to what we did for create and update, we'll also create a file, destroy.turbostream.erb. Turbo, so we can say turbo stream. And what do we want to do after we have deleted it? We simply want to remove our article. So we can save that. If we refresh now, I click on destroy this article. So if we come here, we can see that the delete was successful and was processed as a turbo stream. So we can delete as much as we want. We can create as much as we want. We can even edit easily. So that is all for our create, read, update, and destroy actions using turbo streams and turbo frames.